The fourth practical step is shape expectations. And basically what this is that you need to communicate all the stuff that you did on your own at the beginning to your teams that are going and to the other people who have buy-in in the trip. So this is about communication, and it's about shaping good expectations. Start with the why of the mission trip. Share how it fits into that overall goal. This is the goal of our ministry, and so of course it makes sense that we would go on this mission trip because this mission trip is about this. And those two things fall in line, and you've already done the work. So now it's time to share those things. And this is very much a before piece, but take them through the process of knowing who you are as a youth group and knowing who the community is that you're going to. Consider sharing this with the bigger youth group or the larger church, because you get to bring other people in the story and maybe teach them a little bit about missions and why this matters. And so don't just relegate this information to your team, but share it with the bigger audience. You'll probably start with expectation building with your students, but then move on to other groups of people like parents, volunteers, other senders or supporters in your church. Keep communicating. You won't know everything right at the beginning, but that shouldn't keep you from communicating something. And so when you are ready to start communicating, dive in, and then you can communicate more details as you go. As you communicate and shape, pay attention to your language. I was a youth ministry major and also a writing major, and I have been instilled that words mean something and words do something. That has been instilled in me. And when you say something, it does something. And so think about the words you use and think about how you're portraying what this experience is going to be like and how you're portraying what this community is like that you're going to. Because your words can form a picture in students' minds that could be hurtful to the experience or could be very helpful to the experience. And so some of the stuff we've talked about with the strengths of the community and the assets that they bring, make sure you're communicating that with your language. So think about how you're communicating about your mission trip. Cast vision in ways that are true and in ways that respect the community, because your service to the community begins with how you talk about them. And it ends with how you talk about them after the trip too. Not ends, but continues, I suppose. And so think about your language as you shape expectations. All right, the fifth practical step is build a team. We've already talked a little bit about this as you guys talked about what you do before the trip, but a few other things. Make sure that your students and your mission trip experience is saying, hey, we're a group that's going together, and we serve together and we work together. Do team building. Again, cast vision for what that will look like. Help them understand why they're going on the trip, why they're going together. And again, let that bigger goal of who you are and your youth ministry speak into the way that you build your team. I think one great thing to remind mission trip teams is from John 13, 34 and 35. It's right after the foot washing passage, which is a great passage for mission trips. But a little bit after that, Jesus says this in John 13, 34 and 35. A new commandment I give you, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you are also to love one another. By this, all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. It repeats. We should love each other. And I think teenagers need to hear, we're going to serve others, but how silly would it be if we go and serve others and we can't serve and love each other? How ridiculous to travel far away to serve and not serve each other. We can show who we are, not by making big announcements in the community, not by the fact we're all cruising in church vans, and not by the fact that we're all wearing the same neon green t-shirts. But we can show people who we are by the way that we love each other. And hopefully that is the biggest message they see.